Hey, what's up guys? Ian here from the Hunters Campfire, and welcome back to the channel. This is where we share our passion for hunting and the great outdoors. In this video, I'm going to take you on a journey from start to finish for a state forest deer hunt. You'll see how I plan, book and select gear for the trip. You'll also be able to come along and see how I look for great deer habitat. Once I'm there, how I look for sign and how I read that sign. And then ultimately, you'll come along on a stalk where I can shoot and harvest a deer so I can bring it home for the table. If you've been wondering how to get involved with state forest hunting in Australia, this should give you a few tips and tricks. So if you're interested, come along for the ride. Let's go. Alright guys, at this point we need to book a hunt, and I'm heading down to New South Wales into R licence territory so I can hunt on New South Wales public land. If you don't know what an R licence is, jump on the internet and go and figure that out. Essentially though, it gives you access to millions of hectares of state forest land that's got deer, goats, pigs, foxes, dogs, and various other game species that you can go and chase down. But I'm going to quickly take you through a booking site just so you can see what it is. It's pretty straightforward, enter a few details and we're ready to rock. Alright, let's do it. Okay, and rapid fire, here we go. Head to the online license holder services page, scroll down to the login section, enter your details, go to book a public land hunt, agree with the terms and conditions, continue, select your regions, select the hunting area you want to go to, how many days do you want, what day do you want to start from. Scroll down here and you'll see you click on the day you want to start. That'll give you the 4 days you've asked for, in my case 5. Continue, put your contact number details in, which car you're taking, and if you're taking a dog that is registered to go, continue there. Pretty straightforward. Agree to the terms and conditions, download the 2 maps. One goes on your device, the other one goes so that you can e-scout on Google Earth. Here it is here, download the maps, choose your region. Nunnal again, download this map which is the KMZ, download this one which is the PDF. Like I said, PDF goes on your phone into Avenza and the KMZ allows you to go and do some e-scouting on Google Earth. Pretty straightforward, piece of cake. Once you click OK, you'll get your written permission. It's got all your details on it. Scroll down to the species restrictions section. Sometimes some of these species are restricted in the area that you're hunting. There are other areas here, specific conditions, might talk about bushfire safety and 1080 baiting if you're taking a dog, and also a bit of information about asbestos that's in some of these areas. So there you go, a process so simple, even you can do it. Piece of cake. Right. So make sure that once you've got that written permission that you print it out and stick it in your pack. You have to take a copy with you. It doesn't have to be a physical one, you can put it on your phone, but there is a trap for people here. If your phone goes flat and the DPI ranger shows up and wants to see your permission, you don't have it, you're in trouble, right? So just print it out, stick it in your pack. If you do decide to put it on your phone, make sure it's in a place that's accessible to your phone in offline mode. Often we head out into the bush and there's no service. The DPI ranger shows up and you need to go download that thing. They're going to be driving you out so that you can find service, so that you can download it and prove you're allowed to be there. So just be smart, print it, stick it in your pack. That's my hot tip for the booking system. All right, that's it for that. Let's go pack some gear. Let's go. All right, here we go. So gear selection, I guess it goes without saying, comes down to what you're trying to do on the day. Got 2 purposes in mind for this trip, with a third
being a nice to have. The first one is I want to get some game trail cameras up so that I can see what's going on over the next couple of months. So when I arrive back there for the rut, I've got a bit of an idea about what's going on the ground. So that's item one. Item two is I want to test out a couple of new thermals that I'm working with, just see what they're like. An entry level one and a fairly high end one from InfiRay. So I'm going to have a go at those. So those obviously go in the pack. The rest of it is the basics that I take every time. The third thing that I'd like to do, if all goes well, will be obviously to take a deer. I'm going to be hanging out up there with one of our podcast listeners. If I can take a deer or two, I'll hand the meat across to them. My freezer's pretty full, so a bit fortunate. Don't really need to be taking animals, but if a silly spiker stands in the way or a young yearling, then I'll take it. I'm going to try and leave the pregnant does alone. They'll be heavily pregnant now, if not dropping fawns actually, November, yeah, dropping fawns potentially. So just got to be careful about that. So I'll run you through the gear, sort of break it down into two different parts, the pack and the bino rig. Right, so that's my pack. It's the QEU 3000. So it's a good quality product. I've been using it for a while. Inside that pack also goes my game bag. So anything to do with game processing goes in here. You'll check out the list and you'll see what's in here, but essentially it's going to carry a knife. All right, so knife goes in. It's got rubber gloves. It's got game bags to put meat in, so that's fine. I'm taking two different types of knives this time. Got my main knife that I use all the time, but I'm also trying out these outdoor edge knives. So they're a super lightweight, blade replaceable. So I'm going to be using that. So I'll drop that and a spare blade, the game processing bag. There's also rubber gloves and some paracord in there just to get an animal up in the tree if I need to. And I drop that in the pack. The other things that I'm going to put in the pack, the basics like a couple of torches. I always carry a couple. So I've got the Army Tech head torch that I use, and I carry another basic one just in case I'm out for a long time and I need battery, or I get stuck out overnight. I just need extended life battery. So those will go in the pack. And then I carry another one that you might have seen. It's just the Army Tech crystal. It goes on my bino rig, but I'll talk about that in a sec. The only other things that go in the pack, really, a bit of food and water. They're the main things. I try and keep the pack as empty as possible. Oh, there's a first aid kit in there, of course. Anything that the first aid kit can't fix, I'm hitting the PLB, which is in the bino rig. I try to keep the pack as empty as possible because it's really there for carrying meat out. So let's get on to the bino rig. Fairly basic bino rig. I've tried to keep these now as lightweight as possible and as small as possible. I want them compact. I don't want them getting caught up on stuff. So that's the one I use now. It's a twin needle one, distributed here by Bush Edge. Excellent piece of gear. Highly recommend them. In the bino rig, obviously the binos, they're going in there. I'm waiting on another set of binos to show up, so I might swap this stuff out. We'll see how we go. Binos go in there. I also have room in there for my phone. My phone goes in that front pocket as well. Just easy access. Next thing that goes in there is going to be whatever choice of rangefinder you're using. The rifle I'm taking has a rangefinder on it, so I've got to decide whether I want to bother taking one of those. I think I'm going to leave it back here. The LRF binos I'm waiting for in the post that will hopefully show up also has those, so that's staying out. I'll take the gamble. For me, I use the Spartan bipod, right? They're a carbon fiber bipod. I use those on all my rifles. Well, in fact, it's one set of these for all my rifles because they all have the adapter that goes under here. So I've got easy access to it if I need it. Right, easy as that. The next thing that I like to put in here, hearing protection, right? I'm running these Axel hearing protection headphones. They're noise cancelling headphones. Matt Clark got me onto these on one of his podcasts. So I'm still just trialing them out. I'll let you know how they go in another review type podcast, but I just dropped them in there. I've talked about the Army Tech crystal. This is a saviour, this thing. It's a great little light. It's got a little clip on it. You can just go on one of these little molly connectors. This thing burns for hours. It's a fantastic little light. Gives you a really good spread just for walking out. So that lives on there. Something else that goes in the pack, really, gloves. I'm not really talking about clothing now, but certainly I take a pair of gloves, not because it's cold, but because it stops getting abrasions on your hands. You're walking around a lot. If you've got a rifle and you've got a camera, if you need to lean on stuff, you're going to eventually carve your hands up. So I always wear a pair of gloves. The other thing too is animals see eyes and sausage fingers first. That's how they identify you as a human. So it's always good to get them covered up. The other thing that's going in the bino rig this time is this InfiRay thermal. All right, this is the entry level one. It's a great little product. It's the AFO AP13 device. That's going in the bino rig as a primary thermal for this trip. Put this in the side pocket. It's charged and ready to go. And as sideline kit, I'm also taking this one. The idea is to review this against that, 4 grand versus 800 bucks, and let you know what I think of the quality difference. In fact, I'll put the footage up, you can decide for yourself. Last but not least, rifles. So for this trip, I'll be taking the Benelli Lupo in 3006, which has got the Burris Eliminator 5 on it. I'm a big fan of this rifle, but it's the one that's coming with me. So I need to get the bolts out and the ammo for that. That's about it for gear. So I've got the pack, got the breakdown kit, which is in the fluoro cape bag, and I've got the bino rig with all the bits and pieces I want to take. There's not a lot more to what I take in my pack when I'm walking around. So that's it. Let's hook the camper up and get out of here.